Level 1. The Runaway. You're 13 years old. You live in a village in central England. You're a serf. That means you belong to the Lord the same way his cattle belong to him. You work his fields from dawn until your hands bleed. You eat what he allows you to eat. One morning, the reeve tells you the Lord is doubling the labor service. Your father says nothing. He just bows his head. But you're not your father. That night, you steal a loaf of bread from the manor kitchen and you run. No plan, no direction, just away. You walk through the forest for 2 days. You sleep under fallen trees. On the third day, a merchant passes with a cart. He doesn't ask your name. He just says, "You look hungry? Get in." He drops you near a market town. You're free now, technically, but a runaway serf is a criminal. If the Lord's men find you, they drag you back and brand you. So you keep moving. You beg. You steal scraps from market stalls. You sleep in barns and church doorways. You're not an outlaw yet. You're just a boy with nothing, but nothing is exactly what makes you dangerous. Level 2. The Poacher. You're 16. You've survived 3 years on the road. You've drifted into the forests of Nottinghamshire. Not because of any legend, because the forest is where people go when they have nowhere else. A man named Godwin teaches you to set snares. Rabbit first, then deer. Deer is what matters, the king's deer. Every deer in the royal forest belongs to the crown. Killing one is a felony. The punishment is blinding, castration, or death. You don't care. You're starving. You catch your first doe in a rope snare near a stream. You butcher it with a stolen knife. The meat lasts 5 days. You sell the hide for 6 pence, more money than you've ever held. One evening, you're skinning a buck when a forester steps into the clearing. He sees the deer. He sees the blood on your hands. He reaches for his horn. You grab a rock and hit him. He drops. You take his knife and his purse and disappear into the trees. You just committed assault on a royal officer. You're an outlaw now, not by choice, by survival. Level 3, the Wolf's Head. You're 18. A court has declared you outlaw in absentia. You weren't there. You didn't even know about the trial. But the judgment is absolute. You are now a caput lupinum, a wolf's head. Any man in England can kill you on sight and face no legal consequence. You are legally an animal. Anyone who shelters you or feeds you commits a felony. You can't enter a town. You can't use a road in daylight. You live entirely in the greenwood now. You build a shelter from branches and moss. You eat what you kill. In winter, the cold nearly finishes you twice. But you're not alone. The forest is full of men like you. Runaways, debtors, deserters, men who killed their lords. You find a group of 7. They share food. They watch each other's backs. You join them. Not because you trust them, because alone, you'll die before spring. Level 4. The Robber. You're 21. Your group has grown to 12 men. Hunting isn't enough anymore, so you start taking from travelers. The road between Nottingham and Sheffield runs through dense woodland. Your method is simple. You fell a tree across the road. When the cart stops, you step out. 5 men with bows drawn. Your purse or your life. Most merchants pay immediately. You take the silver, you let them pass. No bloodshed. Bloodshed attracts attention. You target wool merchants, grain traders, tax collectors. Especially tax collectors. Nobody mourns a tax collector. One job goes wrong. A merchant has a hidden crossbowman. The bolt hits one of your men in the shoulder. He dies 2 days later. You bury him under an oak tree. No marker, no prayer. You're making money now, but you can't spend it. You trade with corrupt villagers at the forest edge. They bring you ale, salt, cloth. You pay double. They keep their mouths shut because the money is too good. Level 5, the Captain. You're 25. Your band has grown to 30 men. They follow you because you're the smartest. You plan the ambushes. You choose the targets. You know when to fight and when to vanish. You set rules. No killing unless necessary. No robbing peasants. No assaulting women. These aren't moral choices. They're strategic ones. Peasants are your supply line. If you terrorize them, they turn on you. If you protect them, they hide you. You start collecting a tax of your own. Villages on the forest edge pay you a small fee. In return, you keep other outlaws away from their livestock. You're running a protection racket, but the villagers prefer you to the lord. The lord takes half their harvest. You take a chicken and some bread. You also have informants. A blacksmith tells you when the sheriff's men ride out. A serving girl tells you when a wealthy guest is traveling south. You're not just surviving anymore, you're building something. Level 6, the negotiator. You're 28. The sheriff has tried to clear your band 3 times. Each time, you melted into the trees. He's losing money. Merchants are avoiding his roads, so he sends a friar with a message. The sheriff wants an arrangement. You keep your operations south of the river. You don't touch merchants carrying his seal. In exchange, he stops sending patrols into your section of the forest. You push back. You want pardons for 2 of your men who have families in town. The friar goes back and forth. The sheriff agrees. This is how it actually worked in medieval England. Outlaws and authorities made deals constantly. The sheriff couldn't catch you. You couldn't overthrow the sheriff, so everyone found an arrangement that let everyone profit. Level 7, the warlord. You're 32. England is at war with itself. The king is fighting his barons. The countryside is chaos. Nobody is enforcing forest law. Your band grows to over 100 men. You're not just robbing merchants anymore. You're raiding manors. A baron in the north wants a rival's supply line disrupted. He pays you 50 pounds of silver. You ambush 3 supply wagons in a single week. You're a mercenary now, half outlaw, half soldier for hire. The line between criminal and warrior doesn't exist in wartime. It never really did. Level 8, the pardoned man. You're 36. The war ends. A new king offers a general pardon to outlaws willing to serve in his army. You take it, not because you're loyal, because you're tired. Tired of sleeping on the ground, tired of watching men die from infected wounds and winter fevers. You kneel before a royal clerk. Your crimes are forgiven. Your wolf's head status is lifted. You're a legal person again. You march to France. You fight in raids along the coast. You're good at it. You've been ambushing men for 15 years. War isn't that different. You survive the campaign. You come home with a small pension and a single acre of land. It's not much, but it's yours. Legally yours. Level 9, the landowner. You're 42. You farm your acre. You marry a widow from the village. She has 2 children. You raise them as your own. You go to church on Sundays. Your neighbors don't know what you were. Or maybe they do, and they don't care. Half the men in England have done something they shouldn't have. But at night, you still sleep with a knife under your straw mattress. You still read the tree line when you walk outside. The forest is 3 miles away. Sometimes you stand at the edge of your field and stare at it. You don't miss it, but it made you. Level 10, the legend. You're 60. You're dying. Your lungs are failing. A life in cold forests and damp caves will do that. A traveling minstrel passes through the village. He sings a song about a great outlaw who robbed the rich and gave to the poor, who defied the sheriff, who lived free in the greenwood. The details are wrong. The real story was uglier, colder, hungrier. But the song is better than the truth. It always is. You die in a bed. That's more than most outlaws ever got. Within a generation, nobody remembers your real name. They just remember the story. And the story grows. The outlaw becomes a hero. The criminal becomes a saint. The man disappears entirely. This is medieval outlawry. You didn't choose it. The system chose it for you. And if you were smart enough, brutal enough, and lucky enough, you survived long enough to become somebody else. But most didn't. Most died in the mud, unnamed, unmourned, forgotten. The forest swallowed them whole, and England kept moving like they never existed at all.